Minister Senzo Mchunu. Good to have you, Minister, and thank you very much for your time. Maybe let's begin here. It seems from your presentation you are going to continue with the implementation of the National Crime Prevention Strategy as a policy of choice that you're going to use to combat crime. What evidence do you have so far that that policy direction is going to give the kind of results that you would like to see? I mean, purely based on your own indicators as the police, one, the murder rate, the detection rate, and the public trust levels. All those indices, indicators at the moment, not doing great at all.
Well, good evening to the viewers. It's more the potential of that strategy that we are interested in. If it gets implemented, we're more interested in its potential to deliver than on evidence that it has done wonders, because by and large it remains unimplemented. So we are going to be actively calling for the implementation of that strategy, and we believe that it has great potential if it can be implemented. Now, we are also not only just talking about that as a policy of choice, broadly speaking, because you must remember that national strategy talks to all departments having to play a role in eliminating crime or in crime prevention in the country, and it's a good point that all of us need to make an effort, and it must be culture in South Africa that we don't want crime. But as a department, we still need to functionalize our policy, because this will be completed. I'm told it's just at a draft level, and we're going to finalize that and then implement that.
So to your point, how then are you going to, one, routinely be able to independently verify that it is being implemented?
We are going to get involved in an interministerial kind of a forum, because by nature that strategy calls for integration and multiplicity of role players that deal with crime. So individually, as a department, what we will do, we will display our will and our preparedness and our determination to participate there because of the potential that we see there. But it doesn't end there. We have a responsibility, a direct responsibility, more than any other department, to deal with crime in South Africa. We're not therefore saying merely we're going to wait until that functionality and implementation of the integrated strategy works. We are beginning to work after being appointed, and we understand very well that it is our job to do so. And we have found police officers led by National Commissioner Masimula very prepared, very positive, and that is very encouraging. That we find them prepared, and they're already doing work that they've been doing, but they are prepared to take their work to higher levels, because they realize themselves that criminality is very high, unacceptably high in the country. And they agree with that situation.
So they are indeed willing to do that. However, some of them that we've spoken to, especially the South African Policing Union yesterday, would have raised a concern that could demotivate them, essentially, but also that could lead to them not being able to carry out their work. And one of the issues they raise is leadership management in the South African Police Service. So they feel there are leaders who are promoted, for example, to particular position that are not capable to function in those positions in police management. And they're saying this is because there is no policy on promotions. That's their view. And therefore, so you have people, for example, who are occupying rather important position in the investigative function of the police who are really not well capable to be in that position. And there's a suggestion of coming firstly with a promotion policy, but also an independent panel that is going to foresee that process of promotions.
Unions in the portfolio on policing are one of the organizations that are best placed to contribute and make a change. We have made an effort, and we're going to continue to make an effort to meet them so that we can hear and engage on the matters. But if that is the point, if that is their point, and they are pointing to something that is tangible, of course, I will agree with them that in policing and in any other field in the country, it's undesirable that you would promote people who don't have the know-how. If there's a field or an aspect of our lives where we need the know-how to be prominent and to be directed and led by the know-how, it is in policing because of the levels of crime. And remember, we're not just fighting crime. We have to protect lives, that is, protect human beings from being taken out by thugs and by all kinds of criminals. And therefore, in this, there are ethical issues. So the responsibility is huge, because it's not just a question of ending crime in the streets. You have to protect lives, and you have to be seen to be protecting lives. And therefore, the people who get involved in that must be competent. They must have merit, they must have experience, and they must be able to demonstrate to all of us in the country that they are up to the task. And therefore, we will engage with the unions to hear them out on this matter. And we will, on the other hand, engage General Masimula if there's evidence that indeed there are such instances. It's not desirable.
Speaking of General Masimula, you've made a statement, at least quoted as saying that you will give him space to perform his duties. What does that mean in practice?
It means that we, myself and the deputy ministers, who are not police, we are the ministry. We have certain responsibilities on overall leadership of the department. We have to guide, we have to support, we have to engage police, we have to oversight them. But in terms of policing itself, performing that duty of policing, you require General Masimula to lead the pack. Yeah. And they are professionals on this matter. They are trained for this matter, for this, and they have the know-how and the skills and the experience. That is all we have to do is to engage them and point to where there are gaps and hear them out in terms of how they feel. Yeah. We need to take things up. Of course, we'll have suggestions and all of that. But when it comes to execution, whatever we agree on, General Masimula is there. And that for him to do that, he needs space to lead the forces on the ground and so on. That's exactly what we mean.
So let me be frank with you so that you understand my question. And I don't want to put you in trouble with your colleague. Yeah? Your predecessor, right, is seen as someone who was almost the national commissioner, in a sense, because if there was an incident, he'll be there, he'll be the communicator of what is happening. And General Masimula would have played most of the time a background role. Are you saying we are likely going to see a different operation in your administration?
General Masimula must be the first on the scene if there are things that require such moves. And when we arrive, we get the report from him. That is our attitude, to say, this is the scene, this is what happened, this is what I'm finding out, this is how we are going to act going forward on this particular matter. And this is our take, and this is our attitude. And we want to give him space. And in part, we mean that That, of course, it doesn't mean that we will not go to any scene. We will go, but I'm saying we would want a situation where he is the first to arrive. If we arrive together, it will be just a question of logistics and not a practice per se.
Yeah.
And we would want him to understand us adopting that particular stance, because he is a policeman. We are not the police. We are not police people, but we are going to be operating very close, giving him all the support that he requires. But he must then execute as per his professional duties.
So I'm sure you know this, and it must be a concern to you. It's a concern for all of us in the country. Police have got this challenge of reputation and credibility. We are dealing even now with corruption incidents of that situation in the Free State, where police are caught on CCTV camera robbing people of cell phones, and the commissioner saying they are definitely investigating that. On top of it, we've got a case of police brutality, VIP protection units of the deputy president caught on camera on the highway, brutally beating up people. These are issues of misconduct that many feel, one, are not dealt with adequately, expeditiously, and I suppose with a sense of consequence management. How are you going to approach the issue of misconduct?
Firstly, we have to engage with the police and with all the members. We have engaged with the leadership, and have spelled out things in terms of what is expected of police. I am sure we agree with the leadership of police that it's not desirable that they act in any other manner other than a professional manner. And we mean that. And so we have added that acting in a professional manner not only assists in all manner of ways, but it also assists the very police in terms of their own protection, even physical protection. I refer to an example where we're told that two policemen in Ispingo in KwaZulu-Natal suspected a car, and they chased it and they stopped it, and they went to the car. And suddenly, the occupants came out, pointed guns at them. And it does appear, I'm not saying that for sure, but it does appear that they were not prepared for that. In other words, we are saying they have to be professional, they've got to be alert, they've got to be prepared for any eventuality. And in part, that protects them. And one example, if a police officer knocks out of duty on a day, we're not saying that they can't go wherever they want to go, but how they carry themselves, how they carry the police issue, that is the firearm that they carry, is a part of professionalism, that they rather behave in a particular way when they are somewhere in relation to carrying firearms. Otherwise, they would expose themselves and become victims unintentionally. So it is extremely important for many reasons, but also when they interact with people in police station. South African police are recruited from South Africa, from among the community. They are part of the community. These are their people. And therefore, they should, among other things, while executing duty, display that they indeed are servicing their own people. And this is very important in terms of the attitude. And it will help us to inculcate and inspire confidence in them. And that we are very much determined that we read the police of all the elements. What I'm observing myself is that misbehavior among police is not necessarily dominant to a point where we can say it characterizes South African police. Yes, there are incidents of those like the ones that you have referred to. And for instance, I couldn't understand, I'm still trying to understand this. How do 3 policemen from Gauteng drive all the way to Welkom and do what they need? I looked at them. I spoke to General Masimla about them, that they don't look young. They are just young but matured. And I don't see what would have happened in their heads, driving all the way to do what they did in Welkom. It's something that needs to be
how about this as a suggestion from one of our viewers sent this question to try and answer that question. So why do police end up in corruption activities? This one is from The Rock saying police officers are underpaid, hence most of them are involved in criminal activities. If the minister can adjust police officers' salaries, especially those who are on the ground risking their lives and chasing criminals. What do you make of that kind of thinking?
One, there is no amount of money that you can pay a policeman for his or her services to the people of South Africa. They by nature, this is a profession that in which you perform your duties beyond the call of duty. Here you are. You get up in the morning like all of us, but the risk that you are facing, the sacrifice that you need to make, giving services and so on, no money can buy. But having said that, that's why we say there's a need for police to be patriotic. That does not mean to say that they should not be paid, and that they should not be paid well. And so I agree with that person that they have a point. But it's not like you are saying a particular amount of money will therefore buy the services.
Buy the service, it will be enough.
But they deserve decent salaries.
Minister, we appreciate your time and thank you very much for coming on this evening. That is Minister of Police there, Senzo Mchunu.